Breaking news coming out in the ongoing negotiations happening in Washington over the debt ceiling. Some news out that the House plans to move its own bill tonight. This is coming out from House Speaker John Boehner, who's met with his House Republicans. Chief Washington correspondent Peter Cook has more on this news. Peter.
Well, we just heard from one of the first lawmakers to leave that meeting. That's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Darrell Issa. What he told us just a moment ago is that the House plans to move its own version of the Senate bill. Basically the same calendar deadlines here for the debt ceiling, February 7th, and for funding the government, January 15th. But there would be some additions to this bill, some strings attached. They want to see, among other things, a delay in the medical device tax, which is not included in the Senate bill. Of course, they talked about it, didn't include it. They also are including what's called the Vitter Amendment, and this is language that's been very controversial over the last few weeks that would preclude members of Congress, members of the Obama administration, the executive branch, from receiving subsidies for their health care coverage, something that is included in the health care law. This has been controversial because the original version would have also included staff. My understanding from listening to Chairman Issa is that this would only cover members of the administration as well as members of Congress. So they're going to pass this legislation or put it on the floor today, vote on it, send it back over to the Senate where, again, the decision will be up to Harry Reid at that point. Are these changes so dramatic that Democrats will reject them? Or could this be enough of a compromise that to get this off the plate of Congress for the time being, Democrats will be willing to accept it? My sense is that Democrats likely will not be willing to accept these changes and probably, Betty, send this right back over to the House of Representatives or send their own bill over without this language.
So what happens then if they don't accept the House bill and they send another version back to the House? Then we are getting ever closer to this Thursday date. Does it then seem more likely, Peter, we're going to breach October 17th?
Well, again, a lot of it depends on what happens in the Senate as well with Senate Republicans. Will they max out the procedural process here and have this take as many days as possible? Right now, the Senate bill, Betty, could face its first vote no earlier than October 18th, unless all Republicans agree to let it come to the floor, even if they don't support passing it. So we're already threatening that October 17th deadline, but the decision day from the House of Representatives certainly puts that deadline in even more peril and likely pushes this entire process later into the week. But it does not preclude at the end of the day the House ultimately putting on the floor this Senate bill. It just means we've got at least one more step in the process before that.